if you're in business, you got to sell. There's no getting around this. There's no, I hope I can just post on social media and people will buy. There's no, I just want a funnel and I want the funnel to do the selling for me. No, you're a freaking entrepreneur. You got to sell. Your job is to sell. If Eddie and I are to ever do business, either I'm going to sell Eddie or Eddie's going to sell me. That's it. Period. Full stop. End the story. Okay, I'm not saying force somebody to do something they don't want to do. I'm saying have a conversation heart to heart with somebody. First and foremost, accept that selling is serving. Selling is serving. So this dude, he's an accountant, man. He's a tax accountant. He doesn't even know what the heck he's doing, bro. Tax accountant. Okay? When it comes to sales, but we got him to do what he had to do. We got him to adopt the mindset of a champion. And in 90 days, bro, he made $89,500 in sales. His previous best 90 days ever was like 30 grand.
Papaya! Hello all and welcome to another episode of Transform Your Future with me, Eddie Isin, where I sit down with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and high achievers as they identify areas I can improve on and guide me to further my self-improvement practice. For more information and insights, join my newsletter at transformyourfuture.com, where I write about reinvention, personal growth, and entrepreneurship. If you like the show, you'll love the content on my site. We want to hear from you. Let us know how we can improve your listening and viewing experience. Suggest upcoming topics or a great guest you know for the show. Please reach out to us through our website, your podcast app, comment, or just text me directly at 813-722-1417. We want to hear from you. This episode is one you won't want to miss, especially if you're an entrepreneur who wants to take your sales game to the next level. Our guest today is none other than Nicky Billou, best-selling author, speaker, and sales expert who has helped countless entrepreneurs turn their businesses into profit powerhouses. Nicky is known for his no-nonsense approach to sales and his belief that selling is serving. With over 600 podcast appearances and years of experience coaching top business leaders, Nicky knows what it takes to turn everyday conversations into revenue-generating opportunities. In this episode, Nicky and I discuss proven strategies for mastering sales. He shares why every entrepreneur must embrace sales and how adopting a champion's mindset can be the difference between staying stuck or scaling to new heights. We also break down practical tips on how to structure your conversations to ensure you're not just pitching a product, but genuinely solving problems for your clients. If you've ever struggled with sales or felt uncomfortable making the ask, the advice in this episode will change your perspective. It shows us how to put the focus on serving others, which in turn makes selling feel natural and authentic. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, the insights in this episode will give you a fresh approach to sales and help you drive real results. So grab a pen and get ready to take some notes, and let's dive into Sales Mastery for Entrepreneurs, how to turn conversations into revenue. Nicky, welcome to Transform Your Future podcast. I'm so glad that you took a little time for us to get to know each other today. How are you today, sir?
I'm blessed and grateful, Eddie. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a real honor.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great for me. I know we're going to have a great convo. So let's jump right in and let me just give you the floor to just talk a little bit about your background, how you ended up running a successful coaching business, how you got there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm actually originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran. And my late father, God rest his soul, he and my mom could see the writing on the wall that this was not going to be a place to raise a Christian family. So what they did is they started to plan. And it took them a while, but eventually they got us out of Iran. And we settled where I now live in Toronto, Canada. Now, at the time, brother, I was 11, man. I didn't want to leave my home. I didn't want to leave my friends. But in retrospect, was the single greatest thing my mom and dad could have done for me and my two brothers. They took us from a legacy of tyranny to a legacy of freedom. And Eddie, I believe that every human being inside of us, inside our breast, beats the living heart of freedom. We all want to march to the tune of our own drummer. We want to chart our own course. We don't want to be told what to do or how to do it by anybody. And as a result of this, I became the single greatest champion for freedom that the world has ever known. Because I, as an immigrant, have seen tyranny and I've seen freedom. And I say this to every native-born American, Canadian, Westerner. Do not take your freedom for granted. If you do, it will be taken away from you. History is replete with examples of this. I'm reading a book about the old Roman Republic, which was the freest place in the ancient world for hundreds of years. And then you had a charlatan fellow named Julius Caesar come on by, and he was just the latest in a long line of folks. And he took the Roman Republic down. And from then on, it was under the one-man rule, the rule of the emperors, okay? And if you think it can happen now or it can't happen here, don't kid yourself. It can and it will if you let it. Listen, in America right now, not to talk politics, that's not the purpose of my appearance here. But back in my home country in Iran, the people in power would try to kill or jail all their opponents, right? We came to the West because we said, that'll never happen here. There's no way it's going to happen here. What's happening now in 2024? The current incumbent in power is attempting to jail his opponent. Why? Because he's leading him in the polls. My God. We can't allow other people who want power to ever take away our basic rights and freedoms. And the first thing we got to do is we got to stand up for the right to choose our own leaders. We got to stand up for the right to be able to have free speech. And we got to stand up for the right for free enterprise. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have freedom, you don't have free speech, you will not have free enterprise, you will not be able to chart the course of your own path for yourself, you will not be able to march to the tune of your own drummer. Every entrepreneur must first be a philosopher of freedom. Okay, rant over, right?
I love it. No, yeah. I love the energy. But, you're speaking my language. I mean, I've been part of the free enterprise system for a long time, taking advantage of it. And so grateful that it's not like other countries where you have all these hoops that you have to go through and you have to get permission, to do things if you want to open your own business. So it's pretty interesting. You said a word there, and I just, in going back and forth with you in the communication and everything, there's a couple of words that you use that I really like. And so can you just talk a little bit about charlatan marketers?
That's a great one. Before I give the definition, let me continue with the backstory a little bit because it'll define what this is all about very powerfully.
Sure.
So my late father, God rest his soul, he was an entrepreneur. Eddie, if you knew him, man, and you were looking for work, he'd sit you down in his office and he'd call up all his entrepreneur buddies and he'd ethically manipulate them until one of them gave you a job. You know what I mean? And then if you were trying to start a business, Eddie, he'd sit you down and he'd talk to you and he'd help you think through your business. He'd help you get access to capital. He'd get you access to advisors and investors if you need it. And he'd even help get you clients, even if you were going to compete with him, because he didn't really believe in competition. And if you were trying to buy a car or a house and you didn't quite have enough money and the bank wouldn't fully top you up, he'd give you a loan that he'd never let you pay back. And people would say to me, Nicky, what are you talking about, man? This sounds like a fairy tale, like a Hollywood, too good to be true movie. And I go, no, man. I says, who does that, Nicky? And I say, for one, the late, great Napoleon Billou. And they go, why would he do such a thing? The cynicism of this statement, right? And I said to them, first of all, he was a devout and committed Christian. He believed that he'd been blessed by God Almighty and his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it was his duty as a devout and committed Christian to share those blessings with others. Secondly, though, he did it because he could. He was rich. I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a man who helped people. Dad would go around telling me every day, Eddie, remember, Nicky, life is about people. I go, okay, Dad. And he said, even business, son, is about people, not money, people. And I go, Dad, what are you talking about? course, business is about money. Without money, there's no business. He said, true, son. But without people, there's no need for money. All business is solving problems for people for profit. EPP, you solve acute problems for amazing people for an awesome profit. That is the awe-inspiring purpose of business. And my dad would say to me, son, that man standing in front of you, that's someone's father, that's someone's son, that's someone's brother, that's someone's husband. That's a hero to somebody, you know, and maybe someone just like you let him down. It's your job to restore his faith in humanity, because every human being is looking for somebody to believe in them and someone they can believe in. We all need someone to believe in us. There are days where our self-belief wobbles. And Dad said, you got to believe in people, and you got to give people a reason to believe in you. And you know,
Yes.
People say to me, hey, Nicky, man, you're a pretty cool dude. You know, you've got magna cum laude grades from Georgetown U, Master of Science in International Relations and Business. Man, you've written all these books, New York Times bestsellers. You got all these podcasts. You've been a guest on over 600 shows. Dude, you're cool. And I go, I'm not that cool, man. There's lots of guys that have done that and more, and you can do everything I've done and more. But if there's one thing that I'm proud of, man, it's I'm Napoleon Billou's son, and I'm a professional believer in people. Because when people need someone to believe in them, that's where I come in. I step in and I show them that I believe in them. And that belief takes that little spark of an ember in them and turns it into a roaring fire of self-belief. And then they're off into the races. And I am the antidote to the charlatan marketer, because the charlatan marketer, man, that's the dude that doesn't care whether they deliver. They just are really good at selling. They got high sales skills, but low ethics. Most people have high ethics, but low sales skills, low marketing skills, right? Eddie, they don't want to be seen as one of those pushy, commission breath salespeople that'll try and take your money and deliver nothing to you. But that's a problem, because they don't go after business they should go after. So I show them how to take the attention off themselves and put the attention on the other person. Don't think about selling, think about serving. And that's, my friend, is how any good human being can make their fondest dreams come true. And by doing that, I've helped so many people go from stuck, tragic businesses to soaring, roaring, and magic businesses.
Yes. Yes. Putting the focus in the right place, obviously. Hold on 1 second. I didn't realize I forgot that one light, and it just gives a little bit extra here that I like. Edit's over. So, the charlatan marketer, I mean, I love it, especially today. There's so many people out there just having sometimes ridiculous things that they promise people, but there's no real meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell that right away. And, I've been in sales all my life. Sales and influence is my gift for whatever reason. It's a talent, skill I have. And the last 20 years, I focused on ethical selling practices, and I focused on serving other people's needs and helping solve problems in other people's lives as my center of what I'm doing. Not really about me wanting to get, another notch in the belt and make another commission, but really more about, can I help you? Can I help you go from A to B? Can I serve your needs? Am I the right person for you? Is this a right fit? So yes. I love it. I love it. So your book, The Finish Line, Thinking How to Think and Win Like a Champion.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about what was your reasoning behind writing that book? What drove you to do that?
So look, I've had the privilege of being able to work with a lot of people who've been top performers, champions. I worked with Olympic gold medalists, two of them, Donovan Bailey and Mark McCoy. And I also worked with Teresa Dugwell, who is my sweet better half in life. She set 3 ultra-distance athletic Guinness World Records, 12 hours on a treadmill, right? And it always has had me wonder, and maybe you've wondered about this, what is it that makes a champion, right? What has one person be a champion and another who's, as talented, maybe even more talented, not. And the research that I've done shows that it's how the person thinks. A champion thinks in a very particular way. They engage in what I've discovered and call finish line thinking. And what's finish line thinking? Well, it's the science of how to think and win like a champion, right? And I'll tell you, there have been a couple of authors that really influenced my thinking on this in a big way. Dr. Anders Ericsson, he was the researcher who came up with the 10,000 hours concept, that 10,000 hours of time spent in any one thing makes you a world-class top-level performer. And Dr. Angela Lee Duckworth, right? She wrote the book Grit. And it's all about sticking with something until you crush it, until you kill it. I wrote this book and I started to work with a ton of clients with the principles in the book. And I continue to do so. I had a client that just a short little while ago, this fellow, he didn't believe in himself. Just didn't believe in himself. That's the biggest problem. And I brought him into my coaching work, and we helped him rejigger his thinking. And we also held him accountable to do what he needed to do to sell. Because, listen, here's the thing I want to say to you and to everyone listening. If you're in business, you got to sell. There's no getting around this. There's no, I hope I can just post on social media and people will buy. There's no, I just want a funnel and I want the funnel to do the selling for me. No, you're a freaking entrepreneur. You got to sell. Your job is to sell. If Eddie and I are to ever do business, either I'm going to sell Eddie or Eddie's going to sell me. That's it. Period. Full stop. End the story. Okay. I'm not saying force somebody to do something they don't want to do. I'm saying have a conversation heart to heart with somebody. First and foremost, accept that selling is serving. Selling is serving. So this dude, he's an accountant, man. He's a tax accountant. He doesn't even know what the heck he's doing, bro. Tax accountant. Okay? When it comes to sales, but we got him to do what he had to do. We got him to adopt the mindset of a champion. And in 90 days, bro, he made $89,500 in sales. His previous best 90 days ever was like 30 grand.
That's
mindset
great.
of a champion.
Yeah.
And accept that you got to sell. Simple as that.
Adopting the mindsets of the champion and the habits that they instill. I train and constantly read and learn about sales every day. I role play every day. It's like if you were a basketball player, you'd be on practice court shooting 200, 300, 400, 500 baskets a day so that you could be the best in your field, right? So if you treat your business the same way, you're unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell me a little bit about, one of the statements that you wrote was that how to add $30,000 to your income in the next 30 days.
That's such a great question. And I think I want to segue from what I was just talking about here, which is, first of all, you've got to accept that it's your job to sell and your job to get out there and talk to people. One of the things that a lot of clients don't take on is they don't take on that they need a way to stand out from the crowd, right? If you try to be all things to all people, you'll be nothing and nobody. You need a powerful message. You need a niche. So like a few years back, we had a fella come to us. And it was about 6 years ago. Good dude, really liked him. And he had been not a CEO, but an executive vice president of a manufacturing company. He made a lot of money. He made 350 grand a year. But he got burnt out. He worked a lot. He got burnt out and he wanted out. So he ended up becoming a business coach. And he loved being a business coach. Except for one thing, his income dropped 80% from 350 to 70K. Didn't love that at all. So he met us and, he said, okay, I want to make the same money I used to make. And I said, okay, so what do you do? He said, well, I'm a business coach. I can help anybody with any business problem. Nope. So we helped him narrow his focus. And he narrowed his focus to scaling. He was good at, scaling a business. And then he wanted to work with lawyers, solo practitioner lawyers. These are guys who wanted to go from whatever their income level was, say $500,000, $1 million to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. So that was the focus. And brother, boom, 6 months into figuring this out, he was doing 50 G's a month, right? That's 600K a year, man. And he was still working like coach hours, not executive VP hours. So 30 hours a week, not 60 hours a week. So he loved it. He said, let me see if I can do 100 G's a month. And he could, but then he started to work a lot more and he didn't want to do that. So he dropped himself back to 50 G's a month. He says, I'm happy with 50 G's and all this free time. And this is what you got to understand. If you don't have a message that's dialed in, if you're not clear about who you're going to help, you're going to stay stuck. You're never going to grow your business. So you want to make 30 grand extra this month. Dial in your focus on who you can help and what you can do for them. Make sure that it's a real problem that they actually want solved. And then get out there and go talk to people. Go talk to people. You'll get business.
That's right. Shake hands and make deals.
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, there's three basic ways we do that. Either we sell more, so we increase the volume of the sales, or we increase the prices of what we're selling, or we have cross sells, upsells, side sells in some way, or JVs where we then make more money in the lifetime of the customer. So there's three basic ways to do it. But yeah, focusing on that and crushing it, that's good. So the number 30,000 is just a tangible number. It could be 30,000, it could be 50,000, it could be 20,000, but focusing on moving the needle for the income and the sales.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And being clear on who you're selling to and not just saying, I'm going to sell anything to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I like that. I like that. You're out there and you're helping people live the life of their dreams. You're helping people live their dreams, right? You're helping people make the kind of income and impact that they want to make in their life, and also living the type of lifestyle that they want to live, doing the things that they enjoy doing, not the things that they don't want to do, right? Like I'm regularly looking at what I'm doing in my life. I mean, I don't do it every day, but I go through these periods where I'll look at my life and I'll just write down everything I'm doing. And then I'll look at, what things do I not like? I don't like doing this. This is not something I enjoy doing. Let me get somebody else to do that for me, right? Because we want to have a life that, this is my solution to no burnout, because I've been burnt out before. And what usually burns me out is I'm focusing on things that I don't really like or I don't really want to do. And that's part of burnout for me. So if I could focus on only doing the things that I like, moving the needle at the high level I can move it at, I don't feel burnout, because that gives me energy. People give me energy. I know, I know you love people, and people give me energy. I love talking to people.
I agree. People give me energy in a big way as well. But if you're in business, you need to be clear on who you can help and who you want to help. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. How do you help them to focus on that? Because sometimes when I think of these things, I think of, so who is my target person that I'm trying to help, and where are they now? Where are they at in their mindset and in their life? And of course, sometimes like your client who has a business and he could actually serve many people had to choose something in there. What was some of the criteria he used to choose who the target market was going to be?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a fantastic question. So this is a tool that I use with my clients, right? So I have them look at who are the clients you've worked with that you've gotten the best results for, right? Mm-hmm. Who are the clients you've worked with that you've really enjoyed working with? And who are the clients you've worked with that have been easy to do business with, easy to transact with, i.e. They pay in full, they pay full price, they don't dicker, they send you lots of referrals. Where the three of those intersect is your ideal client. That's what I did with this fellow and with tons of my clients, right? And that makes it really simple and straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he discovered. He wanted to work with lawyers. He wanted to work with lawyers who were looking to scale. Solo practitioner, not big firms that he had to deal with a bunch of partners. And away you go.
There you go. Bill.
It was all she wrote, brother Eddie.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I've heard that before. I guess sometimes when you are starting out, you just have to choose something and then see what comes out of that and let that inform you how you choose things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to. But it works.
So you talk a lot about becoming a person of interest, of being somebody that attracts the people to you, going out there, being a thought leader. What is some of the ideas about how you can position yourself as a branded thought leader so your ideal clients come to you?
Well, I think the story I just told you of Carl is really a good one, right? This fellow that we spoke of right now, because he went from being just a business coach to being the fellow who worked with solo practitioner law firms. But I'll give you an example of someone else. So there's a recent client we've been working with, called her Dr. Dia. She works with med spas. And she used to have a med spa, but nobody knew who she was. And we sat down with her. We helped her really understand who she wanted to work with. So she wanted to work with med spas. So that became pretty straightforward. And her pitch to these folks, her message is, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and I can help you collect all that money that you should be collecting. And really, we're talking to the tune of millions. A lot of money can sound nebulous, right? To the tune of $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year. And she put her messaging together with our help. And I work with my wonderful better half, as I said, who has a lot of experience in working with medical folks and helping them with their thought leadership. We put together a powerful message. She did a presentation to 12 med spa people, and 4 of them wanted to speak to her further. And she signed up the first one within 4 days of the presentation to the tune of $450,000. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's thought leadership. That's not, hey, I can help any clinic with anything. I'm helping med spas, and I'm helping you collect all the money you should be collecting by being a med spa and not leaving a lot of money on the table. Powerful message. And boom, $450,000 in a single sale. And it's my belief, before the year is up, she's going to sell 3, 4, 5 others just like this, and she'll have a $2 to $3 million a year.
That's a great story. That's great accomplishment for her. So thought leadership is, being a branded thought leader is really about narrowing your focus, picking a niche, picking the area that you can work in and that you're going to be able to push the needle in to get results for them. So you find the right person with the right situation and problems, and your solution speaks to them. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, because some coaches talk about writing books, some coaches talk about, going on the speaking circuit and, speaking at corporate events and things like that to become the thought leader.
Well, just speaking isn't going to make you a thought leader. You see, this is one of the things that I like to tell people is, look, what's the hardest work in the world? Thinking. That's why so few people do it. You need to think through, and there's a whole process to it. It's one of the things we teach people how to do in one of our workshops about what is it that you really have knowledge and expertise in, right? And once we've helped you get clear on that, then you can start thinking about, well, who needs my help with that? And then once we've got you clear on that, then we got to actually put an offer together and have you start market validation. Market validation happens when you talk to people and you find out if what they're dealing with, i.e. their problem set, and what you're offering are a match. And if they are, you're going to get a few people to buy. And if they're not, then you won't. And then it's back to the drawing board. You know, a lot of our clients already have that aspect figured out. They know they got a client that needs their help. Their messaging is not tight enough, so we help them tighten the messaging up. And they don't want to go out there and sell. Really, those are the big two, right? They don't want to go out there and sell. So we lovingly kick their butts. We make them sell. And we make sure their message is good. Because without a good message, you're not going to win. But look, I have a 90-day program. My 90-day program is called 90K in 90 days. That's an extra $90,000 in 90 days that we expect you to generate in income. How? Get on the phone and talk to people. Get on the phone and talk to people. Meet people and talk to them. There is no other way. There is no other way. None. I'm sorry. Posting on social media will get you 0 clients. Zero revenue. I don't care what anybody tells you. Visibility, likes, all great. They're not business. They're not business. Right? Business happens like this. Like this. Not because someone saw a post. Now, I'm not talking about a $50 item or a $20 book or something like that. Sure, you can get that off a post. I'm talking about a high ticket program. I'm talking about 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. No social media post is going to get you someone to buy that. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
They need to talk to you. They need to feel comfortable that you know what the heck you're doing. Okay, now, like I said, if you're selling $50 bottle of vitamins, no problem. Post on social media to your heart's content. But if you're selling something high ticket, forget about it.
Yeah, I get that. And, when people start out, sometimes, they struggle with things, and they maybe want to believe that if they just had the right funnel and the right advertising, that everything is going to work out. Or if they do this thing where they get these people to make DMs to people, and, then they respond and everything. It's a lot of work. And I think the thing is if you can't find somebody who's the appropriate person and start a conversation with them, and they have a level of interest, then you have a much bigger problem than figuring out some digital marketing hustle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Nicky, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I know I had, a lot of things that I asked you. I think you've answered them very successfully. I mean, I get you, and I get where we're going. Is there anything you want to bring up?
One of the things is, make sure that you're not undercharging for what you do. A lot of people think that they shouldn't charge what they're worth because no one's going to pay. And that's a mindset issue. Like, I had a client like that. Great guy. He knew his clients. He knew everything. He just charged way too little. And I just went to him and I said, dude, you're not charging enough. And he said, okay, what do you want me to do? Increase my prices 10%, 20%? I go, no, man. 20-fold. He couldn't wrap his head around it. I said, you will get more clients by doing that. He wouldn't do 20-fold, but he did 7-fold. As soon as he increased his prices 7-fold, 20 times as many people started doing business with him. So he made 150 grand a year, right? So not bad before he and I met and started working together. But once he did what I told him to do, in 4 months, he made $1.2 million. In 4 months. Not in a year, in 4 months. Because he raised his fees to what he should have had them at in the first place. Now, I'm not saying price gouge and overcharge people. That's wrong too, right? But you got to charge based on the lifetime value of the service you offer. Let's just say, Eddie, let's say I teach you, one of the things I teach is how to be a guest on a podcast and make money from that, right? So I've done that very successfully, made close to 400 grand from it. Let's say I taught you that. And over the next 2 years, you made, $250,000 a year from learning that. Well, that's $500,000 you made, right? What should I have charged you? $50? Hell no. Not 50 grand either. That's probably too high. But $50? No. $500? Still too low. But 5 grand? 5 grand would have been a good price. You'd have been happy to pay it, right? You'd have paid 5 grand to make 500 all day long in 16 ways to Sunday. And you got to be thinking about the lifetime value of your solution, right? And if you're not going to charge appropriately. Charging isn't based on, oh my God, are they going to pay? Charging is based on the value that they're going to get.
Yes. I see. And so I see how that could be helpful for a lot of people. The other thing that I find is a lot of coaches out there are stuck on this idea of working with one person at a time. That's just not a scalable business if unless you charge $10,000 for, to spend an hour with you. Otherwise, I don't see how you could scale that.
No, man, that's a hobby. That's not a business.
Yeah.
If you don't have sales, you have a hobby. You don't have a business.
Excellent. So I'm going to drop the links in the show notes for the eCircle Academy. So they can make a complimentary breakthrough appointment to set up a discovery to see if it's a right fit and if you can help them. I really appreciated the time. I'm going to be in touch. I want to talk to you more about some of these ideas.
Eddie, thanks for having me on the show. It was really great to be here. God bless you.
For more information and monthly topics of interest, please go to transformyourfuture.com and join the newsletter.